Chapter 23. As he approached the main street, the sight of the traffic jam stretching for blocks ahead made his heart sink. The honking of car horns and the frustrated expressions on the faces of drivers stuck in their vehicles painted a chaotic scene. Finally reaching the bar he had visited the night before in the bustling French quarters, he glanced at his watch in disbelief. His brow furrowed as he tried to comprehend the fact that it had taken him a whole 35 minutes to walk there. The realization was perplexing. It felt like a mere 10 minutes the night before. How could time have played such a trick on him? Stepping into the bar, Adelmo immediately sought out the bartender who was preoccupied with setting up for the day. Eager to unravel the mystery of the previous night, Adelmo bombarded the bartender with questions. However, the bartender's responses were vague, and he seemed reluctant to engage in the conversation. Adelmo couldn't shake off the feeling that the bartender was concealing something, his demeanor hinting at a hidden truth. By the end of their interaction, the bartender's nervous demeanor was palpable, leaving Adelmo with a sense of unease. Exiting the bar, Adelmo's mind was consumed with thoughts of the bartender's strange behavior. What could have caused such a reaction? Was there something sinister lurking beneath the surface? The questions he had posed seemed to have struck a nerve, leading Adelmo to believe that the bartender was indeed hiding something significant. As he made his way home, the unsettling encounter replayed in his mind, leaving him with a sense of foreboding. The mystery of the bartender's reaction lingered, casting a shadow over Adelmo's thoughts. Adelmo had just arrived home after a long and eventful night, his mind filled with questions and suspicions. Determined to get some answers, he wasted no time and immediately reached for the phone to call his friend Nick. As he dialed Nick's number, his heart raced with anticipation, wondering what revelations awaited him on the other end of the line. Finally, Nick answered the call, his voice calm and collected. Adelmo wasted no time and dove straight into his inquiry, his words tumbling out in a rush. "Hey Nick, it's me Adelmo," he began, his voice filled with a mix of urgency and curiosity. "I have a question for you. Last night, when you picked me up from the bar, did you happen to know the bartender?" Nick's response was swift and straightforward, his tone tinged with surprise. "No, why do you ask?" he questioned, genuinely puzzled by Adelmo's query. Adelmo proceeded to recount his peculiar experience at the bar, his words laced with a sense of intrigue. "I was tracing my steps, timing myself to see how long it took me to get there," he explained. "But when I arrived, the same bartender was there. I started asking him questions about last night, and his reaction was strange. He began shaking, and his face betrayed a look of guilt or secrecy. Can you do a background check on him? I feel like he might be hiding something." Nick's response was cautious yet firm, his voice carrying a hint of reluctance. "No, I can't just do a background check on someone without probable cause," he explained, his words tinged with a sense of professional ethics. Adelmo, however, was not easily deterred. He countered Nick's statement, his voice filled with determination. "But if you suspect that he's hiding something, doesn't that count as probable cause?" he questioned, his logic unwavering. Nick's response was measured, his tone indicating a careful consideration of Adelmo's words. "Yes and no," he replied. "Probable cause is only relevant when we are actively working on a case involving that person." Adelmo, undeterred, proposed a daring idea. "Can't you at least pretend to be working on a case against this guy?" he suggested, his voice filled with a glimmer of hope. Nick's response, however, was resolute. "I can't, so don't ask." Adelmo glanced at his wristwatch, and a sense of urgency washed over him as he realized how late it was getting. He knew he had to quickly gather some information, so he bid farewell to his companion. Just before Adelmo stepped out of the door, Nick's voice echoed in his ears, cautioning him to be careful. The atmosphere during Mardi Gras after sunset could be quite chaotic, with people losing themselves in the festivities. Adelmo acknowledged Nick's concern with a nod and a reassuring reply, then gently closed the door behind him. Making his way towards his car, Adelmo hoped to swiftly start the engine and be on his way. However, to his dismay, the car refused to cooperate and remained stubbornly silent. Frustrated, He decided to investigate the issue and popped open the hood. Adelmo meticulously inspected the various connections, searching for any signs of malfunction. Surprisingly, everything appeared to be in order, leaving him perplexed. Realizing that time was slipping away, he reluctantly left his car behind and opted to continue his journey on foot. As Adelmo strolled through the streets, he couldn't help but notice the gradual increase in the number of people emerging from their homes. The vibrant energy of Mardi Gras was palpable in the air, and the setting sun painted the sky with hues of orange and pink. Although the atmosphere was becoming more lively, Adelmo remained composed, confident that he would navigate through the bustling crowds unscathed. He was well aware that the festivities could sometimes ignite a sense of frenzy among the revelers, but he trusted in his ability to stay vigilant and avoid any potential chaos that might arise. Finally reaching the bustling main avenue, Adelmo found himself immersed in a sea of revelers. The atmosphere was electric, with individuals donning an array of masks and eccentric costumes. Adelmo, lacking a disguise of his own, knew that blending in would be a challenge. Instead, he opted to adopt a more inconspicuous approach, attempting to fade into the background amidst the sea of vibrant characters.